and welcome back to a very special anniversary episode of the Thru The Grapewine podcast. I am your host, Uta Mitchell, and I'm actually still kind of blown away that it's been almost exactly a year that I published my very first episode. I remember sitting there, going, can you do this? Can you do this? And then I submitted it, and I was so scared that nobody would listen. And then people started listening, and here we are a year later, and we're going strong, and it's been a lot of fun. So, yay, thank you for being here, and happy anniversary to me. um, we have a super special guest today that I'm extra stoked about, because this person is in a large part responsible for the fact that I did pull the trigger, basically. And my guest today is Marli Williams, one of the coolest people that I know. And she's an inspirational leader and a coach. And I am so thrilled to have you here today. Welcome, Marli.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super stoked to be here.
So, you are, per your website, an
Mhm.
inspirational leader and coach for transformational leaders. And I know firsthand, because I've experienced you twice now, that you know how to get a crowd really excited and dancing. And but tell me about Marli before she became who she is now. Who is Marli Williams?
Yeah, great question. People always ask me like, how did you decide to become a speaker, right? Like, what was the journey? What was the path? And when I was 19 years old, I went on a 50-day outward bound course. And for those of you who don't know what outward bound is, essentially, I went into the middle of the woods with a group of people I didn't know to find myself, to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I was, the summer after my freshman year of college, I had no idea who I was and what I wanted to do. And on that course, we went on a 3-day solo. So I was in the middle of the woods by myself for 3 days. And I have my journal still to this day. And in that journal, it said, my mission on this course and in my life is to help people realize their full potential. And I wrote that down in my journal, and I don't think I really knew what that it's like. I didn't write, I want to be a motivational speaker and I want to be a coach. It was just like, my mission is to help people realize their full potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like I have been on that journey ever since. I became a wilderness guide. When I went on that outward bound course, my instructors were like the coolest people that I'd ever met. And I was like, this is what I want to do for a living. I want to take people in the woods and make them cry, which is now what I do for a living. I am a professional camp counselor, and I actually was so enamored by it that I majored in outdoor education. I got a degree in essentially how to guide people to their own personal growth journey through the outdoors. And like I said, I was a wilderness guide, and then I got my master's in education and worked at a university for 5 years before becoming a full-time coach, speaker, and entrepreneur. And I feel like Steve Jobs has a quote that I actually love. He says, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards." And so
Yeah.
somehow you have to trust that the dots will connect. And so when I look back and it's like, well, what are the things that brought me here? It's like every decision that I made along the path has got me to this point. Like going on Outward Bound and being a wilderness guide and getting my master's in education and learning along the way. And like the through line is just that thing that I wrote in my journal, which is all about helping people realize their full potential, whether that's speaking, coaching, running retreats. It's like that is the ultimate mission. And in so many ways, like my work doesn't feel separate from who I am. Like
Mm-hmm.
people are like, well, how are you different? Like, I know that you're this on stage, but what's Marli like, outside of this or at home? And I think a lot of people think that I spend a lot of time with a lot of people all the time, but I spend a lot of time just hanging out with my dogs, going for hikes,
Mm-hmm.
paddleboarding, camping, hiking. Um, doing things that I love with people that I love, and ideally, so that's who I am. And I think that it's great to find work that really almost like feels like it honors me as a person. It's like,
Right.
this is what I'm here to do. Like, this is what I'm meant to do. And it's always evolving too. It's always changing. It's always evolving. And yeah, that's a little bit
That's
about me and my story.
that is so amazing, honestly. I mean, like I said, as when I experienced you last year, it was just this. And I think it kind of happened at the perfect time of the day too, because everybody was kind of starting to feel a little like, oh my gosh, I've been listening all day. And in comes Marley, and we're dancing and,
It was
making
like
moves
right
in the
after
booth.
lunch. Yeah.
So my question though is, um, in my little corner of the wine industry, right? Syndrome is just a very, very real thing. Every so often I ask myself, why on earth would anyone want to listen to me? Why would they want to know what I have to say? Why would anybody want to learn from me?
Mm.
E- Even though I know that I have knowledge and I know what I'm talking about, but still, there's always that shred of doubt in my mind. Is that something that you've ever experienced yourself? And if so, how'd you move past that?
Just every day, all the time. I always say, if you're up to something big in the world, doubt will always be a path. Doubt will always be a part of your path.
Mhm.
And I think that sometimes we think that confidence means not having any doubt or any fear. Doing something brave means we're scared. It wouldn't be brave otherwise,
Sure.
right? And so I think that I love this quote or this line. It's like, doubt is a doorway, meaning like, ooh, I'm feeling like a little nervous, which can lead, which is also similar to excitement, but it
Mhm.
means like I'm up to something that matters to me. I'm doing something that matters. And that nervousness, I always say, like, I'm nervous because I care. I care about wanting this to be a good talk or podcast or article or whatever it is that you're putting out there into the world. And being visible is vulnerable. So we put something out there and we have all these thoughts like, who's going to listen, or who the hell am I? And I always say, like, who the hell are you not to? If you have a dream, a vision, a goal, there is a reason you have that dream, vision, or goal. Not
Mhm.
everyone has that. And it means you also have the tools and the resources you need to make that dream or goal a reality. And so I think it's realizing that we all feel that way. Like,
Mhm.
anyone you look up to experiences doubt or imposter syndrome. It's just that they've made a decision for that to not run the show. It doesn't get to lead. It's like, hey, Elizabeth Gilbert wrote a book called Big Magic.
I was just gonna mention that.
He talks about like the road trip where it's like,
Yes.
hey, fear, I know you're
Yep.
gonna come along, you're a part of the family,
Yep.
but you're in the back seat.
You're in
You
the
don't
back
get
seat.
to drive the car, you don't get to touch the road maps. And it was like, dude, you don't even get to change the radio. Like,
Ah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm in the driver's seat of my life. And when I'm doing something that is big, that matters, fear will always be there. And so I think it's learning to be with it, love it, learn from it, embrace it, because really it's just trying to protect you.
Mhm.
And you can say, hey, thank you for trying to protect me, but like, I got me, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this anyway, because I would rather at the end of my life say, like, I went for it, I showed up, I played full out, I did the thing, and I was scared as hell, but I did it anyway. Not I
Right.
was scared and I listened to the fear and I listened to the doubt, and then I didn't do anything because I was just too scared. It's like, no, I
Well,
was scared and I did it.
this is kind of funny. So one, I was going to, as soon as you started talking about this, I was going to bring up that book, Big Magic, because I read it and I thought that was a really, really good part of the book. And it's really telling to me that I mean, all of this is really ringing very true to me right now because just a little bit ago, I was about to throw in the towel. And I can't really put my or couldn't put my finger on why that exactly was. There was definitely that doubt. I wrote the word down while you were talking. There was this doubt. There was probably a little bit of fear, not just of failure, but the fear of succeeding
Mhm.
and what that would mean for me as a professional when now people are looking at me going, we expect you to be good.
Mm.
And all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh, wow, do I even wanna do that?" And then there were, some life things happening. My daughter announcing that she's moving to Germany with the family and, then I'm going into menopause, things like that. And I'm like, "Okay, I need to just take a break." And as I was coming back from it, I thought, well, maybe I need to just slow it down and just make it a hobby when clearly this podcast has become so much more than a hobby. It's
Mm.
it's so much more.
Mhm.
And then again, you came back into my life and I think I want to rewind that just a little bit because last year you did this talk. It was at the Women in Wine Oregon annual conference, and you put these little cards under your chair, under everybody's chairs. And for those of you guys who are watching, this is what they look like. And you call them stoked cards. And before I tell my story about the stoked cards and how I decided to keep at this after all, why don't you tell me about the stoked cards?
Yeah, yeah, I love it. So I created this card deck called Stoke Quotes, and it's a deck of 100 different quotes that I sat down one day with a Sharpie and a stack of Post-it notes, and I just wrote down all of the things that I tell myself when I'm stuck, having a hard day, feel like giving up, things that I've told myself, things that I've told my clients, things that I've said in my talks. And, it's just like the idea of, the metaphor of stoking a fire. It's like we can't light a fire once expecting it to burn forever.
Hmm.
Meaning, like, we can go to an event and get stoked and get inspired, but what's going to keep you stoked? And I wanted to create something that was just this like really easy takeaway and tangible thing that people could have as a reminder of the day and as a commitment to themselves. And on the back, we talked about like, what's your 1 degree shift? And I say, if we leave here and nothing changes, we've missed the whole point. So, what are you going to do? What action are you going to take to integrate, to implement something that you heard today, learned today, saw today? And it's been so powerful because I'll speak at these events all over the country, and people will send me pictures of their quotes, or I'll see them years later and I still have that quote on my bulletin board. That got me through this really hard time. Or I started the freaking podcast because I wrote it down that day and I did the thing. And that is like when an event can go beyond like the ripple effect that has. If
Hmm.
there's 300 people in the audience, like, yeah, we can leave here and feel stoked for
Yeah.
a few hours or a couple days.
Right.
But like, I even had someone come up to me and her 1 degree shift was like reading to her son at night or
Oh,
doing it was like doing a check-in before they went to bed. And she's like, and I'm still doing that. Right. So it's like, it's so powerful. Like the ripple effect of that is
oh my
so
gosh.
neat. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite things, I'll share one more thing with to do with the Stoke quotes is I'll hang them up on a string, like at a farmer's market in a park. And I have the sign that says, take what you need. And so people walk by it and they see all of these messages and they're like, I can take one. And I'm like, yeah, you can take and it's just a fun, like, human, experiment, just like a random acts of kindness. So they're super fun, and that's the story behind the Stoke quotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely inspired me, obviously. I still have my card. The other one is still in my backpack. But this is the one that I had under my chair last year. and it says choose to thrive.
Hmm.
And my promise that I made to myself, and I turned to my neighbor and talked to her about it, was that I will publish my podcast even if it is not perfect. And because that perfectionism is, it kind of slows you
Totally.
down. It
Yeah.
really slows you down. Oh, it's not perfect, so I'm not going to do it. Oh, I'm not going to sound like the uber professional who has done this for 10 years. So clearly it must be bad, so I'm not going to do it.
Hmm.
Rather than to just not compare myself to that person and just compare myself to me. And so and that's why I kept waiting and waiting. And so I did this. And then again, fast forward to this year, and I was kind of in a point where I wasn't sure, are you going to continue on? Are you going to step back from it? Are you going to turn it into a hobby? Are you going to monetize it? All of those things.
Right.
And then the conference came around this year, and I found my little paper or card under my chair. And what was really interesting was I actually switched chairs
Hmm.
because there was a chair open that was closer to a person that I was having a conversation with, and so I said, "Well, I'm going to go onto that chair." And then we pulled out these cards, and my card read, "Your heart knows the way, or your heart already knows the way. Trust that." And so I'm sitting there and I have like tears filling my eyes, and I'm going, "Oh my God, how perfect is that?"
Hmm.
And it was just this moment of just realization and recognition and understanding and deciding right then and there. And I wrote onto the back of my card, I am going to continue, and then I am going to monetize this, and I am going to take it to the next level,
Hmm.
even if it's not
Woo! That's
even if it's not
amazing.
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, and so you did tell me just a moment ago, people have been getting in touch with you sometimes years later.
Yeah.
What's like your favorite success story that somebody has shared with you after one of your talks where they got a Stoke card?
Oh my goodness. They're all my favorite. It's hard
That's
it's hard to choose. I
fair.
think, like, it just blows my mind. I mean, I went to an event recently and I met someone who I had met, like, right when I made these cards. Like, this was probably 6 or 7 years ago. It might maybe even longer than that. And she still remembered the card that I gave her. And I don't
Mhm.
remember what she did with it, but, like, that it can, like, have that lasting of an impact, like, that it was, like, 7 or 8 years ago, and someone still has this card in on their wall or their bulletin board or their dashboard or their bookmark, and they're like, "I did the thing," whatever the thing was that I said I was gonna do. And I just love the idea of the ripple effect. It's hard to choose just
Yeah.
one story. My videographer, she came to an event one year, and she had a quote, and I don't remember the one that it was, but she wanted to do like full-time videography, and she's doing it now when she wasn't before. And so it's just like really neat, the things like people quitting their jobs or moving across the country, and the small, like, I talk about the power of the 1 degree shift, right?
Mhm.
And I give people permission, like, you don't have to change everything for everything to change.
Yeah.
You just have to change something.
Yeah.
Because if nothing changes, then nothing changes, right?
Right.
But, like, the reading, I mean, checking in with your kid at the end of the day, every day for a year, like, the ripple effect, the power of that, like, that's powerful, right? So it's not
Yeah.
even the big grandiose things. It's these, like, little micro adjustments and little 1 degree shifts that I just love to. It's like, at any time I'm speaking, I feel like I'm planting, however many people are in the audience, 200, 300, 500 seeds of a possibility, and how many people choose to, like, nurture that, water that, and turn that into something. That's
And
the best.
then the effect that that will have to the people around them too.
Yeah.
So it just kinda
It's like the total ripple effect. And that,
ah,
for me as a speaker, I talk about the difference between a transactional presentation and a transformational one. And a
Mhm.
transactional one is cool. I learned some things. I
Mhm.
wrote some things down. Cool. A transformational one is like, I am going to do something different or be different or
Mhm.
feel different. Like something has transformed, something has shifted in me. So I'm like literally going to leave this experience, this retreat, this event, and like be a different person when I go back into my life, do
Mhm.
something different, take a new action, like show up in my relationship or as a parent or in my work a different way.
Yeah.
And that is like always my mission is like, how do people leave here and not just with a notebook full of notes, but with like something that they can do that will shift something in their life.
Yeah.
That's always my intention.
Well, I love that. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It worked for me.
And you took action and you made it happen. That's what I'm
That's
talking
right.
about.
Yes, yes. You
So
you
good.
still have to be the one taking action.
Right.
So, yes.
100%.
So you also, and you have said it earlier as you were introducing yourself, you refer to yourself as professional camp counselor.
Mhm.
Tell me about Camp Yes, please.
Yeah. So, Camp Yes is a transformational adult summer camp for women leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers. So, oftentimes I find that women tend to say yes to everyone and everything but themselves. Yes to their kids, yes to their partners, yes to their work. But like, what does it actually look like to say yes to myself and my big crazy dreams? Right?
Mhm.
Like, what is your, like, I talk about this idea of discover your biggest yes through the power of play. And one of my favorite parts of camp is there's no phones, no technology, no drugs, no alcohol, just like full on detox from all of the like external noise and input and dings and rings and buzzes that we're constantly inundated with. And it's like, who am I without that?
Yeah.
And what do I really want in my life? And so Camp Yes is, it's just this like really sweet dance of play, like tapping into play and joy and fun and like, there's like a 350-foot slip and slide and arts and crafts and a lip sync battle and an untalent show and play shops and all these different things. And it's also has this like this really deep question of what does it actually mean to say yes to myself?
Mhm.
What gets in the way? People pleasing, perfectionism, what are the fears, the doubts? What if I try and I fail? What if it doesn't work out? What if things go sideways, right? Like, and then to create, I would say like the clarity in what you want, the courage to go after it,
Mhm.
the confidence in yourself to trust that no matter what, you're going to be okay, and the community to lift you up and support and encourage you. And so I just feel like it's just a beautiful experience to help women really reconnect to themselves, connect with their purpose, and connect with a really amazing community of other women that are on that journey as well.
Right. And
Yeah.
you have a camp coming up here in early September.
We have a camp coming up, Labor Day weekend. Yep,
Ah,
just outside of Portland,
so wanna
in a little
go.
town called Vernonia. I
Oh
rent
my gosh, you're gonna go to Vernonia? No
Vernonia.
way.
Yeah, it's I rent an entire summer camp, and so we have women coming from all over the country, and we have about 10 spots left right now for folks that are wanting to sign up and say yes. I'll create a promo code for you all to join us, and we'll
Alright.
put the link in wherever the show notes are.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Excellent. I so wanna go. I honestly I was like, well, and this is the last one, is that correct?
This is the last summer camp,
Yeah.
like the big kahuna. And as much as I love it, it's also a lot of work and a big production. So
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing other, events and speaking and retreats and things like that. But the big one,
Yeah.
this is it.
So, my
This is
friends,
it.
better check out the show notes.
Check it out.
That's where you're gonna get the information, and that's how you get in, and I wish that it was me getting in. This is something that I had really hoped to be doing, and it just so happens that my birthday is the week after, and we're planning a trip to San Diego to see my daughter,
Oh,
and I can't do 2 trips. I have
yeah,
a
that's a
job.
lot.
So,
Those darn jobs, they get in the way sometimes.
I will keep up with you though, or, keep checking in on what you're doing, and I
Oh,
will
yeah.
be coming to some of
You
your
can come to
retreats.
Baja in January.
Oh, well, darn.
That's what I'm talking about. Baja's the jam.
Oh my gosh, that would be so amazing.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. All right.
So if people are
January.
into warm weather, whales, oceans, sunshine in January, check out Camp Yes Baja. That's the
We
one.
are into that in January up here in
Gotta get
Portland.
out of here. Yeah, we gotta get the vitamin D and some sunshine for sure. For
Oh
sure.
my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so moving on to our next question. And this is obviously, it's a wine podcast generally. It is talking to women in the wine industry and what they encounter as they are moving through the ranks of this industry and trying to move up and kind of hitting a glass ceiling, so to speak, even in this industry. So now you're a woman, and on top of it, you're gay.
Hmm.
Do you feel that this is something that made it more complicated or harder to get where you are? Yes or no? And if so, what kind of roadblocks do you feel that you encountered? Or was it just one of those things where you're like, no, it was good, smooth sailing?
I think that it's interesting that in the speaking industry specifically, it's fairly male dominated.
Mm-hmm.
But in a lot of ways, it's a benefit that I'm different,
Mm-hmm.
that I am a woman, that I am gay, that I look different than other speakers, because I think that people are looking for a diversity of experience and perspective when it comes to the type of speakers that they're looking for.
Sure.
And so they're not wanting to have a lineup of just a bunch of a lot of the speaking circuit is like old white dudes, like still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the wine industry, I know, is still a lot of old white dudes
Yep.
and so it's like I think about it instead of seeing it as a liability, as an asset of there is a lot of that's being, with the women in wine, but how can you feel it um to be seen and celebrated and supported, and finding communities like the Women in Wine, the mentorship program that they have going on, and other people to as mentors to look up to. And again, I think instead of seeing it as a liability, seeing it as an asset of like, why does my unique perspective as a woman in this industry matter? And I think it does require, I think in general, I mean, the fact that there's so many men that are speakers, it's like, they're like, I have something valuable to say. Right. And for women, it's like, I have something valuable to say. I have something valuable to offer, to contribute a perspective, because women in general across the border tend to be more perfectionists, tend to be harder on ourselves, and we
Mm-hmm.
tend to seek more and more external qualifications.
Yeah.
Right. Once I get this certification and then this thing, then they'll listen, then they'll pay attention. And
Oh.
so much of like learning to be a speaker, I think, I know it's a little bit of a different industry, is just valuing your perspective,
Mm-hmm.
valuing your perspective, your experience, your knowledge, your wisdom, wherever you're at. Wherever you're at on your journey, you know more than somebody and less than somebody, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Yeah.
And so, but we're always looking to who knows more than we do. And we're
Yeah.
comparing from that place versus, wow, I know so much more than I did a year ago, than 2 years ago, than 5 years
Right.
ago. And I
Yeah.
know more than the average bear. Like I know more than, and I always say that same vein, there's always someone that can help you. And there's always someone you can help, no matter where you're at. So I think it's really, for me, learning to value my own knowledge, wisdom, experience, and having the courage and confidence to put it out there and to
Yeah.
share that. And, and again, in a pretty male dominated industry, but saying, like, hey, this is why that's a good thing, rather than here, this is why it's a bad thing,
Hmm.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we've said this before. This is not about man bashing here at all. It is, I remember the McBride sisters last year when they were talking, and they were saying, well, our mentor was male, and that was really, really important and needed. And there is something to be said about this cooperation between men and women, as long as it doesn't stunt the growth of that woman in the process.
100%.
If I'm going to end up always being just a step below that mentor, then he's not my mentor.
Yeah.
you know
Mentors want you to be better than them. I mean,
Right. Just like
they want
parents
you to
want their
grow.
kids to be better than
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I want to look at my kids and go, "Wow, yeah, you are a lot better than me. Thank you. Good. Mission accomplished."
Exactly. Exactly.
So, do you and I mean, in that case, you're good at what you're doing, obviously. Do you feel that this is something that you are going to be doing for decades to come? Just keep speaking, jetting around the globe and spreading the good news?
Spreading love. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see, being an entrepreneur, like I said at the beginning, is that it's an evolution. And I
Mhm.
think, entrepreneurship is like the biggest personal development journey you can go on. Like, as far as like asking, oh, who the hell am I? Who's going to listen? It's already been done. It's already been said. And I always
Yeah.
like to say, like, no one has done it or said it quite like you.
Right.
And my mission, I don't know if you're familiar with Mel Robbins, but like she is someone that I kind of look up to as a mentor. And as far as just having a really big impact, my two big values that drive me are freedom and impact. So I want to have like time freedom, financial freedom, creative freedom to do what I love with who I love when I want to. That's freedom to me. Freedom is success, like, and impact.
Mhm.
So, making a positive difference in people's lives, whether that's like one person, but or 10 or 100, or my big goal is like thousands and millions of people. And through, and we'll see where it evolves to. It's like the TED Talk, books, podcasts, eventually, continuing to speak, lead retreats, events all over the world. I'm here for it. And I'm just like, I'm here to be of service, keep following my heart, and keep listening to what is coming through me so that I can help others follow their heart.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that. It's wonderful.
that's the journey.
It's the journey, isn't it? Well, I'm going to, before I go into my final bit here with you, um, elaborate a little bit on my journey. I did decide that I'm going to start selling some hand stamped jewelry. So this is going to look something like this. And if you're just listening and not seeing the video, it's all over Instagram, so no worries. I'm holding a bracelet in my hand, and I hammer with a hammer and stamp each individual letter onto these little aluminum stamps, bracelets. And this one happens to say, "Wine is my spirit animal." Um,
I love it.
these bracelets can be completely customized. This one says, "You had me at Pinot Noir." I have one that says, "In Vino Veritas." I have Through the Grapevine one, of course, and several others. I am going to be doing a giveaway of those in honor of my anniversary today. You're going to want to check your Instagram accounts this afternoon, as I am both releasing the episode and I have a reel scheduled for that as well. So go check that out and you could be a winner. And I am going to start my store next week. So I need just a few more days to set that up and get everything squared away so that I can, do all of the fun stuff like take credit card payments because apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, shipping, it's a
Yeah,
thing.
shipping, all of that.
Figure it out.
So it's super super exciting. It's super fun. It is something that I hope will help me as I am moving along and selling this stuff. I want to try to keep my podcast as commercial free as possible. I don't love listening to commercials during podcasts myself, and so I'd like to just be able to limit it to, hey, this podcast was sponsored by myself, maybe, so that we can limit that as much as possible.
Mm,
So stay tuned. Again, everything is going to be posted on Instagram and on Facebook, and it'll be fun. I think it'll be lots of fun.
that's
I
awesome.
will I will do group orders too. I know a friend of mine has sold this equipment to me, and she has done it for bridal parties and for special events. People would order them having the same thing stamped on, like the bride's name and the date or something like that. So lots
Very
of
cool.
possibilities there.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. All righty. So I have, well, I have one more question, but there's actually two more questions. Um,
Watch out.
the one question you don't know about is, what's your favorite wine?
Ooh, great
It's a
question.
wine podcast,
It's
right?
a wine podcast. I have to answer that. In the summer, rosé. In
Uh-huh.
the winter, cab sauv.
I
That's
love a
what
good Cab Sauv. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody who knows me knows I keep talking about Cabernet Sauvignon on this podcast.
Yeah.
So
Those are my go-tos.
Remind me, I want to gift you a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon because I work for a winery called Cougar Crest, and it's in
Ooh.
Lake Oswego, and they make a really wonderful Cabernet Sauvignon. So I would very much love to be able to gift you a bottle because
Oh, I
it's a
would love
really,
that. Thank
yeah,
you.
and it's a
Amazing.
really beautiful wine.
Yeah.
And then my final question that you do know about, do you have any words of wisdom you want to share with our listeners? And this can be private life or work or, anything that you feel like sharing as you're on a little pedestal and you have something to say.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I think that the greatest gift that you can give yourself and to those around you is to give yourself permission to say yes to you, to say yes to the things that you want, to say yes to the things that light you up, to say yes to the people that lift you up, to say yes to the experiences that nurture your heart and your soul, and to say no to the things that don't, and have the courage to know what to say yes to and what to say no to.
I have goosebumps.
That's what I gotta say.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is absolutely incredible, and I'm so so glad that you were able to come on to the podcast. This is something that I have been thinking about for about the last half year, about doing. I
Mm,
think it's very very fitting that it is the anniversary episode. So,
I
thank you
agree.
again.
So
Right?
fun.
And then so thank you so much. I really appreciate you. We are gonna put all this stuff into the show notes for our listeners.
Beautiful.
And have a wonderful day. Thank you, Marley.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye,
And with
everybody.
all that, all I have left to say is, of course, Prost.